desktop audio gets in the way. Huh? Where's my VTuber? Oh. Oh. There I am. There I am. Let's, excuse me, let's, why is line 1, 2 picking up so much? Are you getting some mic buzzing, Kath? I think. Oh. Something might not have been plugged in all the way. Okay. Just double checking. Double checking. It actually is the old cable. I need to replace one of these cables on here. But let me... And let's turn these up. I'm getting a bit more. I had this grandiose idea. Yeah. That's a bit better. Reset that. That's a lot. That's a lot of bread. A lot of bread. Very, very lot of bread. I wonder if I can... Oh, I see. Yeah, that's maxed out. There it is. If I angle that just a bit. Yeah, I have days when I don't want to eat, but I have to eat. So I feel you there. Let me get this reset. There we go. Then I'll just... Come on. I know it races up. There it goes. Pointed more directly at my face. Now. Oh, yes, I am live on both. You don't have to open in both. We'll pick up more people as we go, I imagine. I'm giving this new style a try based on yesterday, and how nice the pen sounded. So, draw claws inside model's head and maybe a tiny brain. Ooh. Also, let me look and see what I can find for music. I need to just finish making music for the stream. Something interesting to have in the background. Let's see, what was it in the watch later? Breakbeat, breaking copyright, the relaxed movement. Okay, I do not want Twitch and streamer friendly. Wow. We'll bury that in the background. Okay. Well, step one is going to be making a brain. So let me type this in. Popcorn. And what is that? Glitch in RG? Oh, I see. You stole the popcorn. Okay. Okay, so let me shrink that. This is going to be the reference image. Did I get it? I did not get it. I don't know why the gnats only come out when I'm streaming. Just one at a time. Okay, so we are now comfy. Oh no. Trying to manipulate this with the pen is weird. So I'm going to try and draw a brain real quick that I'm going to use in several upcoming image edits. Your brain looks smaller? I mean, I will be able to shrink this brain I'll be able to shrink it. Are you guys hearing an echo? You might be hearing a bit of an echo because it looks like I'm picking up on multiple mics. If I... Oh, no echo? Good. What if I do this? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? I could also get a bit closer. La 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 la. Okay, so we'll just use these for now. These are the ones that are pointed directly at my drawing pad, but yeah. I guess they pick up my voice too if I'm looking at them. Okay, let me slide this around just a little bit. This is caught on something. There we go. And then I can pop this up here. By the way, how's it going, Kath and Brad? Welcome back to the boring day, I guess. But we're trying to make it more interesting. We are doing our best to make this interesting. And maybe adding a little ASMR. By maybe, I mean definitely. It will definitely be ASMR. I'm looking for something here. Oh, this one. Let's put him down there and let's hit the refresh. Okay. What's up, Nameless? Welcome back. Y'all are gonna have to tell me if this is an interesting stream or not. So we're gonna get the new... I have it set up by default for 1080p so that when I'm designing these things, if I've got a specific place on the screen that I want them, I can design them for the screen. I can also import a screenshot of the VTuber that I'm clipping so that I can position it around their heads and around their chat and stuff. Okay. Oh, that's a big brush. Let's go to our standard. Yeah. I do want to do a thing like normally I like to have the transparency behind it. I mean, I like to have the transparency behind it anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead and dump that bucket there. These are coming in real crisp. Real crisp. And because they're yeah, your 1050 kilocal bread diet might be. Can I choose the backgrounds? You mean starting off Nameless? Yeah. Let me show you. If I can remember how. I think it was in Preferences. And then you do Default. Default new image. So you can save it as a template. And you can save it color space, 8-bit. There's a bunch of different integers. I don't know what these mean. Fill with transparency is the other thing. So with GIMP, you can have it default start with transparency, which I generally prefer. So what I'm going to do here is, if I can remember which button it is it this one? It's this one. Okay. So I'm going to type in what I want this layer to be. I should probably just write sketch, but my brain thinks draft. I like to start with just a 1 pixel thing. So we're going to have a center. It's right about there. It's going to come around think probably this should be the end of that. Approximately. We're going to have it curve under right about here, curve under here, then that's going to come down here and here. Then we've got stem, brain stem, right down there. That might not be perfectly straight. Okay, I like to put reference points down. I am not an artist. I'm in the art category though, because this is mostly art. So let's get drawing. Oops. Off to a great start, Prussia. There's going to be a bit of a dip in here. More of a V shape. Then it comes around. What goes around comes around, as they say. This should be more round. More round. Yeah. More sharp. Okay. Then we continue this straight-ish down for a bit, and then we curve it under. We curve it under. That's fine. So we're going to start this down approximately, and we're going to curve it to make it there, and we're going to curve it to come in there, and it's going to. I'm getting a lot better at making straight lines, I just noticed. By the way, reference image is here. Oops. I don't know how to get the reference image on this screen, so I've got it on the neighboring screen. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is draw in just a little bit. We probably don't need anything below that line. Let's, yeah. Go right about there, and then we're going to draw in a little bit of detail just so I know kind of what the surface shape is here. Yeah. And we've got our swirly thing. This comes down and tucks back in before going down. Tucks back in before going down. Okay, then this is going to be like the brain proper. We got a big circular thing in here. Then we've got it's not quite circular, it's more flat. We've got tucked in, down, swirl. No, I'm drawing with a pen. I'm using a, I think it's called Ugee, U-G-E-E, and I also believe it is a Chinese brand. It does not have a screen on the tablet, it's just a blank tablet, so I'm looking at the screen and drawing by feel basically. But I didn't find it like, I'm an intermediate stage of like learning the art systems, so I didn't find it helpful to get a giant tablet right out of the gate because I'm still like, I want to make sure I'm sticking with it. Miss Someone, hello, how are you? Let's get our pathway. Now our pathway can be a bit rocky. Yeah, it's fine, Kath. Kath is lurking on Twitch. So we can make it a little not quite steady because it's going to have wrinkles. I am doing fantastic, actually. Thank you for asking. What brings you to the stream on this fine day? This needs to be more narrow. I need to lower my phone or raise the chat a little bit. I guess I could do that. Yeah, there we go. Random streams. Well, you found one of the random streams of all time. It certainly is. I don't know very many people that do this. Okay, just clean up those lines a little bit. Now I've got my path here. I'm gonna type, not type, wrinkle, wrinkle. Yeah. And it would have been a lot easier. It's actually like a little binky thing over here. So we got a little petal. We got another little petal. And then it comes down in the middle with a really narrow stem that widens out, almost like the uvula in your tongue or in the back of your throat. Miss someone. Yeah. They're joking because there's a lot of Germans that watch my stream for some reason. I don't speak German. I don't at all. But yeah, it'd be funny. It'd be funny if you also were German and somehow you found your way to the stream. Oh! Fantastico. My Spanish is muy malo. But I studied a lot when I was younger, so I can understand a bit. Anyway, I'm drawing a brain. Let's do basic colors. Let's do some basic colors. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do here, you see I'm keeping my my stuff separate over here. We got my background that I can just eliminate when I'm done with it. We've got our sketch, which is going to be over the top all the time. We've got our basic color. I should I'm gonna line art it. And in this case, it's going to come up to 5. Now, I have a thought. Since this is a brain, what if instead of trying to make a perfectly straight line, I just let my hand go? Let's turn that opacity down. About there, yeah. What if I just let my hand go and whatever crooked lines it produces, we just make those into the folds of the brain? I'm going to give that a try. I'm intentionally trying to let my hand wiggle a bit. Now that was too much. Right over here. It's supposed to be like rounded looking, right? Still might be just a bit much. In this case, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna erase this inner line here, just as carefully as I can. Nice rounded out shape. I could zoom in and get this a lot better, but yeah, now they look a little more even here. Sometimes I'm a little crooked on one side or the other, so I gotta correct it. Oh, I've been watching a lot of artists, a lot of whom are VTubers actually. I've been watching a lot of artists on how to do stuff like this. And this particular program, GIMP, I've been using for photo editing for the last 4 months, 5 months. So I know the photo editing aspects, and I've been working on getting like a lot of these brushes I've downloaded because I wanted to try some more textures out, and texturing is really fun. But maybe not as useful as I'd like it to be. Anyway, let me swap back over here. We're gonna continue the wiggly wigglies. Yeah, just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yep, right in there. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Come on down. I'm gonna have to flatten that out just a bit too. And I've been producing art for the clips that I do of VTubers for a month or two now, including full drawings. But it's not great, you see. It's not great art, it's just, it is what it is, right? I'm gonna zoom in over here. I do have buttons on this pad. It makes it a lot easier to do stuff like zoom in and out. I assign the buttons. I'm going to increase this to a 10 because we're so close. That's one thing I don't really like about this, is the size is relative to how close you're zoomed in. So a 10 right here, you can see on my cursor, if you zoom out, it will eventually be the same size as this line, and then it'll be bigger than this line depending on how far you zoom out. So what I'm doing here, checking out my reference, is I'm going to create kind of this dish, this radar dish looking thing. I'm going to round it off, come back in. Nice and narrow, round it off, come back in. And we're going to expand it into that binky shape. That's a little bit wiggly, so I'm going to try and clean that up a little bit. Just a little on the inside here. Yeah. I'm still doing a lot of line work cleanup, which I haven't had the opportunity to watch a lot of actual artists do the line work, because most of them, it seems like, when they come in on Twitch, they've already got their line work done. Or in some of their cases, they might have had somebody else do the line work for them. And then they just come in and they color and they chat, because coloring is, I guess, more interesting for the chat than drawing the stuff out. But I want to, let's do a little round. So it's going to go, oh, hold on. Back up that. I want to switch. we want to switch. Okay, so this brain, let me show you. It's good to bring the reference back in. So you see right here is where I'm starting to get into it. And it kind of curves out a little bit before coming back in. And then there's a little bump here. I don't know if I necessarily need this bump because we're going to recognize it by the shape once I get the shape going. I'm not drawing it in with these 3D lines either. I'm just going to draw something that looks kind of like this, or try to. And I might make it even simpler. I might take all the lighting out and just draw black lines in the maze formation. But yeah, there's the binky. I'm calling it the binky. I'm going to draw the general shape of this, the general shape of both of these, and the general shape of the brain stem, and basically color them all one color and be done with it. I might color them pink too, but a different color of pink, like a darker or a lighter, depending on what I do with this. So anyway, that's our progress so far. So I need to come out a bit. What's my spacing is 10. Ooh. Spacing I don't really like. Then we'll come back in and go down. And for this one, we'll come kind of out, coming back in, up and down. I just noticed a detail that I forgot, that's why I'm drawing it in here. Still a bit shaky, but okay, now we see smooth, we see smooth. Let me do some of the outlines here. Let's back out. Now this one I'm going to tone back down. Let's make it 3. I'm looking at this. Sometimes it's got dead ends. Sometimes it's just got a single. It's probably more helpful to think of it as like a coiled intestine or something. That may be gross. I hope the pen clicks are coming across. So let's draw. This is going to cut in that way. We have another line that way. Just approximating some of the shapes that I see. I've got one that comes in, like splits, like that. I'm going to come over this. Sorry, I almost had the net. It floated right in front of my face. That's not too bad. I'm going to do something that's maybe going to screw some of this up. I'm going to increase the size here. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, I want the size to be a bit larger. We're going to take the force down and the opacity down. What this is going to do, should be about 10 each, is it's going to give me this fluffiness. Good night, Nameless. Have a good sleep. So for each one of these marks, I'm going to draw some of these canyons. And it helps create, I think, more of a feeling of cohesiveness, brain-likeness, because it's varying thickness, varying shadow. It's going to give us more of that brain feel, I think. And I can go darker or lighter. I can really expand out the sides if I want. I really like this thickness though. I really like this thickness. I'm not going to do this along the absolute edge, except where I've got these things kind of touching it, because on the image it doesn't look like it's got any particular rhyme or reason. These, I think, are creating a sense of three-dimensional depth that singular lines wouldn't have. And we can also, if we want, draw in, yeah, I want that a little smoother. We can draw in lighting. Yep. If we finish this side, make this a little thicker. Center. I'm going to hold off on the center for now. Oh, if anybody has questions, comments, you just want to chat about your day, go ahead. I don't bite. We're chilling. We are chilling. Having a good time. This is almost Bob Rossin. Almost. Yeah, nice dark pathway in here. Happy trees. Mm-hmm. Just keep on keeping on. Sideways is my worst stroke. But we have lots of opportunity to correct because of the very forgiving nature over here, the opacity 10 and the force 10. It's a lot of margin for error, which is why when I shade, I use the 10 and 10. I don't really like to change the hardness, which changes how thick it goes out. I like it to be a pretty uniform application. And then just do my color theory right, and it should turn out all right. I should have probably, in hindsight, made these lines a little thicker. The shadowing, I mean. Should have made it just a bit thicker, but I think this is going to turn out all right anyway. Now, what we can do here also is connect those with shadow, or if we want them to be distinct with the actual line. I think that'll produce more of a brain-like effect. Yeah. This is definitely helping it to look a bit more straight as well, because my line work is all over the place. We just started doing this like 45 days ago or so. Patience required. Patience required. Yeah, these diagonals are terrible for me too. Though diagonals the other way, for some reason, I'm okay with. Make it more smooth. Smooth brain. Smooth brain. Oh, is that it? Is that it? Let's back up and have a look. I'm going to turn off that draft sketch. That doesn't look too bad. Looking back at the reference, I'm a little bit sharper with the corners here. The reference has a lot more rounded edges. But I think this is great so far. So, what I'm going to do here. Brains are pink, yeah? Generally kind of a light pink. I dissected a pig when I was in high school, and the brain matter of the pig was actually kind of bluish gray. So let me shade it that way a little bit. We'll add some more gray. Okay. So Oops, let's get our opacity. Oh, you wanted to see how the brain turns out. Okay. Well, let's get it finished for you. Do you suppose this pink is vibrant enough? Doesn't have to be crazy, but I think I added a little bit too much of the gray. Let's saturate it a bit more. Yeah, I think that looks more quote-unquote brain-like. So what I'm going to do is rough draft with the color here. Spacing is still 1, yes. Okay. I've had some trouble fine-tuning stuff with my spacing set to like 10, which is the default. So for eraser especially, I set it to 1. And then there's less difficulty with that. Right along in there. We're going to make it big. The only trouble is when it's doing a lot, it will kind of glitch out. GIMP, people have told me, was not made for art. It was made for photo editing. And so they were like, if you want the free equivalent, get Krita. And I tried Krita and I hated it. Okay, let's zoom in. The other thing about this program is I see a lot of artists, they'll like click on something and it highlights the area and then they can immediately fill in whatever color they're working with. I have not figured that out for this app. Oh yeah, Nameless. Nameless is an artist, aren't you? I'm just gonna go around. So I do everything by hand for now. Fortunately, using brush size, it's less difficult. I'm just filling in a couple of the extra things. And because I made the edge lines so thick, it's very easy to just come along and clean it up. Oh, flip, do. And we'll flip back to this. I do want the below binky. Well, below is relative. I'm gonna fill in right there, just to make sure. Yeah. I was initially, Nameless, I was initially using a mouse to do stuff, and it just took so long. And as soon as I got this cheapo tablet and pen, oh, it was like night and day. I was actually able to cut out pictures for my edits a lot faster because and with more precision, I should say. Like before, I just had to accept that I was going to trim off a lot of edges and just try and make it look the best that I could. It's not bad. Again, I think I should have made those a little darker. I am going to do a little bit more shading in between, but I'm going to do it with a darker pink and on a different layer. So let me shift that more into pink and let's make it darker. Maybe more into red. Yeah. Oh, you're a pen and paper sort? I thought about learning traditional art mediums, and with what I do with it, it doesn't make sense for me to. So I'm sticking with digital art for the time being, but I have great admiration, especially if you're making art with like a pen or something where you can't erase stuff. Everything has to be so precise right out of the gate. No margin for error, or very little anyway. I just need to line the edges here. So I'm going to line all of these edges. But yeah, this pen or this drawing tablet was $60 US, and then they lowered the cost, so I bought a second one for my tablet so that I could travel around, because I do have a tablet that was supposed to be an art tablet, but it was terribly difficult to work with because it kept registering my palm as the pen instead of just the pen. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening because the pen has a battery in it, so it should be able to communicate with the tablet. Anyway, what is this Mario 64 sounding music? Why did I pick it? But yeah, with digital, I feel like, with GIMP anyway, the only way to really ensure that all of the pixels are covered, even with a spacing of 1 pixel, is to come in here close and physically make sure that it's covered all the stuff. Because sometimes when I'm further back and I do it, it won't get all the pixels up close. Pixel perfectionist, perhaps you could call me. I don't think it's too much to want all of the pixels in a colored in area to be colored in. I really like the surface of this pen, or the surface of the drawing tablet. Now, let's see. I am going to so I can rate it? Bro, I just started doing art. Are you sure you want me to rate? Let's do 10 and 10 again. I'm gonna try a new layer. I'm gonna call it shade the folds. I'm going to make this a little smaller. I will give you my opinion on, because I have been looking at a lot of art recently. I do enjoy looking at more art, so I'll definitely check that out. Okay. I'm so glad I decided to do this on a different layer. If I hate it, I can just erase it. That's not bad. Gonna do it double wide in some places. But yeah, the art channel in the Discord is for anybody to share art. It doesn't have to be yours either. You could find something that looks good on Twitter, or Reddit, or wherever art is shared. As I often do. Ah, I mean for us hobbyists. If you're producing something, I think, that looks like the thing you're trying to produce, then you've succeeded. And in my case, I think I will have produced a brain after this. Or at least something that looks like a brain. And so I will have succeeded. Because there are people that will stress and fret over like, oh, this detail isn't perfect, or this doesn't look great, and I'm like, I am going to show this for about 5 seconds in a video clip that I took of a VTuber. Thank you, Kath. I mean, part of this, as a lot of the art professionals that I've been watching on various platforms, a lot of them say, do something every day. And I've been doing a lot of this kind of edit art that ends up going in my videos, and that keeps me motivated to continue. So I'm doing this multiple days a week. And so, of course, it's going to improve. And it might even improve faster than some other people because I'm doing it quite often, and I have a purpose. I have a purpose, and I have my, totally forgot what color. Am I still in this color? Let's shade it lighter by a bit. And make it a little lighter on the bottom. Look at that. I freaking love just giving it a little blush, right? Just a little blush. I'm gonna do something fun with this. Just give me a sec. Give me a sec to realize what I'm doing. I love being subtle, man. I absolutely adore it. And I think the more I get into this, the more I'm going to be motivated to do art for art's sake, as opposed to what I'm currently doing it for, which is my videos. We're going to make the size a bit bigger, and then we're going to take out all of this that was outside, all of that, all of that. And this way I was able to cheat a bit and use a bigger brush in those other areas. Just got to make sure that the edge is clean. Okay, now we've got a little blush there on the brain. Yeah, it's a little uneven, but that's not bad for an hour's worth of work. I'm actually going to take that out and ship it just like this. Let's make sure it's on the desktop. Brain PNG, that's perfect on the desktop. We do that. Okay. Yeah. I've actually used a couple different art programs, nameless. Discard those changes. Okay. Okay, so we've got the brain. Kelvin to Celsius, that's not a drawing. Let's see. So I have draw claws inside of her head, a ball gag with saliva. The saliva will be drawn. Turn model into a chair. Great philosopher indeed. Hot car hood. Frosty the Snowman. Okay. Frosty the Snowman. Actually, I could. Yeah, why don't I do it like that? Then I will... do that. We want the sketch first. Okay. Again, I'm going to turn this down to 1. We've got our force up and our opacity up. I'm going to sketch this out. Yes. And actually, this is my personal opinion on this, is when you have purpose, in other words, you're looking at references and trying to reproduce it, which most of the great art people, actually all of them that I've listened to, that's art looks really good, they say you should be looking at references for everything, literally for everything. So sometimes I'll have 2 or 3. I don't in this case. This is going to be my reference for the snowman. We've got a scarf. Scarf is kind of stiff. I might use a different scarf, in which case I will use a second reference just for the scarf. The hat is kind of bleh. What was the context of the snowman? Oh, she's talking about staying frosty. Staying frosty. So, cool snowman would be apt. Let me move this over. Right there. We're gonna... Yeah. So I'm gonna use this reference that I just showed you as our outline reference, and then I'm going to make the snowman cool. Ha! You see this? This idiot Prasha tried to write on a white background with a white pen. There's that one. I want it to come down to about here. Then we're going to have roughly symmetrical layers. So we should have the head that comes down to about here. We should have the torso, and then the bottom. So the head we're going to make circular-ish. It's a bit far out. Let's put this up a little higher. Yeah, okay. And then this one we're going to put out a bit further. And then this one we're going to put out even further. Oop, even further. Well, let's go. Two. And I think with snowmen, it doesn't matter that they're perfectly symmetrical or not. I'm actually going to start this right around there. We're going to come down. We're going to start it right around there. It's a little bit bigger than I initially thought, but that's okay. I actually want it to come down into ground like that. Okay. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Let's change the line thickness to 5. I think the music ran out. I need to werk. You see my mistake. Instead of the sketch, I did it on the line art. Sorry, I did it on the sketch instead of on the line art. I'm having difficulty carrying at the moment. I hate that I forget to change layers sometimes. I'm not going to do the background because all of these are going behind a VTuber. The reason I'm doing the ground is because Frosty doesn't technically have feet and doesn't technically have a distinct bottom without having the ground. So in this case, I'm going to do about like that. And then we can, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Let me clean up some of these lines. I'll zoom in too. Okay, that continues, that continues. Let's zoom in. Again, not chasing perfection, just getting the job done, using the art, and moving on. It's a little thick here. Just a little thick. I would like to do more backgrounds. I have done backgrounds for things. But let me move this up. We'll get rid of sketch. I've done backgrounds for things, but they haven't been like background. It's been like either I edited it for a video, or do I want pure white as a base? Yeah, let's do pure white and let's shade it. So we want base colors, we want this. We want to back out a bit, then we can make it larger. I'd like to do more backgrounds, but I don't think I can do backgrounds for the video edits that I do, because the streamers that I clip are the background that I put all the items over. These are foreground items mostly, so I do edit some backgrounds though for ASMR stuff sometimes. Like with the toilet ASMR 2 weeks ago, I edited 6 backgrounds for that. That was kind of crazy. Okay. I think I should just inch it up there. That looks good. Now, what I would like to do here, what I'd like to do is kind of frosty. I'm going to turn on my alpha lock. I'm going to frost frosty. Opacity. I want something grainy. I really want something grainy. About 1010. Grainy. How's this? Actually, that's a really good texture. Hold on. Okay, so that's a good texture. I'm going to raise my opacity and my force up to about 20 each. And shading is going to be on this side mostly. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I love these brushes. Let's get just a bit more real subtle, real careful there. I wanna darken out the back of this a little more so that we've got some more distinct shading. Ha ha ha! Just a little further over here with the yeah. Kind of like that, kind of like that, kind of like that, like that. Woo! Just a bit more on top. Come on, baby. Just a bit more there. And we're gonna really shade behind it into this snow pile. You can see there's a little bit of brightness there, which kind of mimics bounce lighting, which I like, because then I don't have then I don't have to worry about bounce lighting, right? Oh, that's looking great so far. Let's turn that off, and then I want features. So what I'm going to do with features, let me you can see this guy has all sorts of weird looking brushes. How do I get this back to channels, layers? Huh? There it is. This one. Okay. Now something. How would we do this? How would we? Shifting toward the black. Yeah. So what I want to do. Oh, I see what you're saying. Hold on. Let's turn that back, and then it was it this brush? Shape of the shade rounder. So like, whoa, something weird is happening there. Let's, okay. Back to the base colors, make sure we are locked. Rounder. So kind of like, I assume this is the rounder you mean. Oh, this is a different brush. Oh no. Which one? Which one was it? This? No, I'll just live with it for now. Let's make it a little smaller. A little smaller here. I assume this is what you mean. Like I'm making the shape a little more rounded for each of these. And the shadow's a little darker on the bottom now too. We'll leave it like that for now. Lesson absorbed is I need to make these more ball shaped if they're on ball objects. Yeah, the other thing that I don't really like about Aaron Griffin art, other than the fact that I had to make a DeviantArt account to download his brushes, they're all just like ABR039, ABR040, ABR041. Like, bro, you couldn't call it like powder or leafy texture. Whatever, he provided it for free. Beggars can't be choosers. And I suppose there's a way to change the names of the brushes, which I should really get on. So let me swap back to features. I do want sketch. Got features and features sketch. Features sketch I want to mer, and I want to mer, and I want to mer, and mer, spacing 1. So what I'm going to do here is make our boy, the snowman, look cool in a throwaway sketch layer. So let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, let's make this black. I want sunglasses on our boy. I'm doing this from memory. These are going to be black. Just all black. There should be more of a rounding. I need a reference. I need a reference. Someone save me. I need a reference. Let's do... This one's the one I'm going to use. So it's more rounded on the bottom, and then it's got a slight arch on top. Okay, so more rounded on the bottom. Rounded on the bottom. It's got a slight arch on top. Slight arch on top. Yeah, that's not bad. I want... What do we normally use for snowman snowman mouth. I know Carrot knows. We can come out to about here. Yeah, there's that cone. Shading on this side. What do we use? What do we use for mouth for snowmen? Or do they normally have mouths? Just carve it in. Yo, dots. I just had a thought that'll make this even funnier, I think. Let me draw in. Just the XD mouth. I think it'll be pretty funny. We want at least 2 buttons. Here. Forgot the hat. That's okay. We can add a hat. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? For real, for real. Hello? Turn off alpha lock. I forgot to go check and see if there was anything outside of these lines, because I colored them so far back, and when I zoomed in, sure enough, right along here, I'm gonna just dip this in. It is what it is. Make sure we're actually good. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay, yeah, there was a big spot here where there wasn't anything. Let's zoom back out. Back out some more. Back out some more. We want this back down to 1. Oh. Hold on. I'm in the wrong layer again. Features sketch. I'm going to flip that back. Someday I'll be good at drawing circles. And then what do we want for the hat? Do we want a baseball cap? Do we want something that looks cool, but is also kind of dorky? Do we want a fedora? No, fedora is difficult to draw. Let me draw a backwards hat. Yeah. Let's draw right along there, and then we've got our archway, we've got our band coming around, we've got the which way here. Got our snaps. Okay. We do like up. Yeah, for sure. Yellow. Let's do that and that. Okay. Back to the line art section. We're going back up to 5. It's a bit wiggly, so I'm just going to go back over it a second time. Okay. Okay. Put ourselves here. Here. The whole thing's probably going to be black, come to think of it. And then let me fill in some yellow here. Fairly saturated, but it doesn't need to be super saturated, I don't think, because none of the rest of this is really saturated. So we'll do the size up a bit. Hold up, wait a minute. Where's my backward? I got it. I got it. I got it. And then we just go into line art. And we do that. I am going to do a little bit with, I think this is probably good. Let's unsaturate it a bit. Monster logo, like the energy drink brand. Shoot, hold on. That was almost bad. I could probably do a monster logo on it, yeah. I'm adding ribbing in just a moment here. How thick is this? Okay, so we're going to have something on the top here, and it's going to have and then we go over to the line art. We finish making the lines here. Yeah. Actually, I want yellow. I want yellow here. And I want it small. Line eraser. Yeah. Yeah, that looks better. And I'm not quite done with this. Let me move in, get some base color. Let's zoom, zoom, zoom. And I want it to be, we'll do it yellowish. Very, very similar to black, but not quite. I'm gonna fill in the band. Yeah. Okay. In my feature sketch, let's return to black. Let's make this a bit smaller, but let's do a punch here, 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 slide, here. Make sure we got that. Make sure we got that. Okay. We are making progress. Sheesh. 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 Okay. What I want to do here is fill in the pure black for now. We're kind of running out of time for the stream, so I'm not going to super brush stuff, but I am going to put my foot on the gas pedal here. Yeah, make sure those are connected. Yo. my line work getting better. It's getting better. Let's just make it big. I'm so pretentious, I already looked up how to art faster. How much do I pay for oranges? That's an interesting question. I have not bought an orange for a very long time. We do gray. We do a blue-gray. Dark blue-gray. White. Buy an orange tomorrow. Last time I bought oranges, it was something like $5 for a bag of them. I'm doing this all on one layer. I am living very dangerously. Very, very dangerously. It is a lot for oranges, you are correct. I'm doing this on the wrong layer again. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Ennis. I wonder if Ennis is going to solve the world's orange problem. Right along in there. I totally forgot to put on more music. Y'all didn't tell me. You have to remind me if you want it. Normally when I art, I am listening to ASMR. Not mine, someone else's. Let's see if I can just clean up the outside here. I can. Okay. So this is not the greatest of disasters. Low ASMR. I'm not super familiar with them, no. Let me see what I can do for this shading. So we've got this color. Let's lighten it up over here. Maybe like right there. We'll do our opacity at 10, our force at 10. Big brush. That's way too bright, right? Maybe not. Yo, this snowman is so cool. Is Lo a male or female? Features, I'm just going to collapse it on there. Feature sketch. And I want my opacity and my force. Hello? What's going on here? Yeah? Size, spacing, force, opacity, male. What is this? Something funky is going on. Oh, Control A. That's it. Right? Feature. What? Yeah. There we go. There we go. So what I'm going to do to cheat and finish this a little bit faster is just cover up the entire thing and make it look more round. Has Lo been doing ASMR for a while? I have listened to male ASMR artists. Isn't it odd to be a male in ASMR and I don't really listen? I do know the band Queen. In fact, when I was in marching band and other bands, we've played renditions of their songs. I want to swap here and make it a little darker, maybe. Okay, we'll space it out a bit. We're going to turn the force opacity down, and then I want to fuzzy select. I like this a bit better. It's like a dip inside, and you've got your, oh, I should re-black the edge. Hold on. Let me get all of these. Oops. No. No. let's re-black just the outer edge here. I think that's what I want. I don't really know what I'm doing with this shading. I'm going to magic select there, then we're going to do a similar thing. Much wider over here. We're going to black. Edifox? No. I know a fox named Enero. Well, don't know, but like, I am familiar with Enero the fox, who does ASMR, visual mostly. I thought about doing visual ASMR for a long time. And the trouble I'm running into is it doesn't seem like people enjoy males doing visual ASMR all that much. But I'm familiar with a number of ASMR artists, but most of them, oh, duh. Card tricks I am not familiar with either. I can show you in just a moment here. Let me finish highlighting. Yeah, I can show you all the ASMR artists I watch or listen to. Let me zoom out. I think we still need the carrot nose. Yeah. Our good friend Carrot is going to be orange. Carrots are generally saturated and dark, I think. So let me... Well, first off, let's flip this over to black and do the outline. Opacity high, force high, spacing low. Let's Control A. Sorry, click Control A. Then we can no 2, 3 there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I am going to do these 3. Okay. And we're going to base colors. We're going to flip over to orange. We're going to make it bigger. That's not bright enough. Yeah, that's better. Let me just scoop that around. Photorealistic. You're joking. I do need to, I need to erase this in here. along there. Just clean up the edges a little. Okay, let me flip this over. Let me reduce that a bit. Okay. Then we go. Oops, hold on. I want to flip this over, and then I want to take care of that. Okay. Now, let's do just, how about there? Huh? Sometimes I click things and they don't happen. Why is this a different color of orange? Are you crazy? Why is that a different color? Hue? This doesn't make much sense. Tell you what. Let me flip over here. Control A. I'm just going to zoom in. I'm just going to zoom in and spacing up, force down, opacity down. Zoom out just a bit. Don't know what that patch was, but it's obnoxious. Turn the spacing down. Turn the size down. More. No, not 900. It needs to be like 10. There we go. We'll cover up that weirdness. That's right. I'm keeping this layer because I screwed up really bad. So, good luck me. This isn't too bad, this outside. It's going to be getting the yellow eliminated. In here. It's going to be kind of a pain. I think this is the right yellow, though. Well, it's much less of a pain than I thought it was going to be. How about this? I can even, while I'm at it, clean up some of these lines. Just a little, though. I need to zoom in for that one. Eraser. Oh, I'm in the eraser. How am I in the eraser? Oh no, you're crazy too. You see, Eddie is, he goes crazy every time somebody mentions that. And it's kinda Just make sure we've not got anything hanging around the edge here. Just a little touch. Okay. We've got our snowman looking cool. I'm just going to collapse all of these. We can get rid of the background. This is pretty well going to do it for the stream today. Let me do one more thing here. One more thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's looking fine. I'm going to desktop it. We're going to okay. Not bad for a day's work. That was a long time ago for a game. Nameless, have you gone nuts? Do you need to go to sleep? Where'd the snowman go? Ice sculpture of a hard thing. Maybe a cucumber. Okay. Brazilian butt lift rim. Don't have that. Frosty the Snowman. There it is. Got that. Okay. Yeah, so these, you will see them in videos sometime this week. I'm going to bump that off, discard. Then I'm going to, what am I doing? Oh. Hide that. And we'll switch back on these, which I hope are not producing a loud hum, but they seem to be. Why do books end? Because the author cannot continue writing them indefinitely? I think that's probably it. Let me mute that. It's probably it. Could be wrong. Okay, friends. Okay, friends. Okay, friends. That's it. Whew. We have accomplished 2 artworks. Get a break. A break. Actually, I go to sleep. I know I'm in North America, but I go to sleep very soon after ending stream because I normally work 2:30 a.m. my time to 1 p.m. It's a 10-hour day, which means I get 3 days off with our 40-hour work week, but it's not. It's not the most ideal. Interesting. Yeah, I need to replace some of my cables. They're not doing so hot. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting with me. Thank you for the advice, Nameless. I appreciate it. I really do. And I will catch y'all on Discord or Twitter, or if you like watching the VTuber clips that I just did those drawings for, you will see one come out Wednesday, theoretically. I just launched one Monday, so Wednesday probably. And then I've got one coming up Friday or Saturday, probably. Good night. I'll catch y'all another time. I really need a new stinger so I don't get flushed.